Hey everyone, this is Coach Tiffany, and I'm hopping back on because I want to give you guys a little bonus. This bonus is a slideshow that I created for a program that I was running a few years ago. It was an 8-week rejuvenation plan. And throughout my program, I was helping my clients kind of just become mindful about the role that sugar plays in their life. So, how much sugar they're eating and why we should either swap the refined sugar or eliminate it completely. So, let's just jump into this nice little presentation. I'm going to share my screen with all of you guys. And here we go. So you guys will see that on the first page, it has the title, the 7-day no sugar challenge with me, Tiffany Carr. Okay, guys. So I called this presentation to sugar or not to sugar. I was trying to be funny. So cutting back on sugar to improve your body, mood, and energy. And that's what it's all about, right? Okay, let's keep going. So sugar 101. Did you guys know that when you eat sugar or processed carbs, it causes a huge spike in your blood sugar? Okay, so I want you guys to imagine your red blood cells just kind of swimming. And when we're eating too much sugar, all of a sudden it affects like your blood sugar levels, right? We don't ever want to have too much sugar in the system because then everything's a little bit out of whack. And then suddenly your pancreas must produce a lot of insulin. So to get the sugar out of your blood and into your cells, this increase in blood sugar levels and consequent fall can make you feel drained, right? That's what causes fatigue. So oftentimes when you have that sugar, there's an initial spike in energy, but then boom, it crashes down. All right, let's keep going. And so what should we do? Now, of course, you can always swap your sugar, right? You can have, instead of the refined sugar, you can choose something that's a little bit more natural. So like stevia or even like honey or molasses. There's other natural kinds of sugar, and they also have health benefits. But guys, at the end of the day, it's still sugar, right? We can call it whatever name. And in fact, I'm going to be sharing part of this program. I'm going to be sharing a sheet that has 1,000 different names that different companies out there use to call sugar. So because people are becoming very much aware about reducing their sugar intake. So sugar is sugar. My advice is that if you can, the best course of action is to reduce it or eliminate it completely and see how you feel after. It's all about feeling. Now, what about tip 2 here? Toss out the pop. Guys, those cans of pops, I'm telling you, the Pepsis, the colas, and whatever is out there that you love is just drinking liquid sugar. Liquid sugar. And let me just be super honest with you guys, super like transparent. I used to love Diet Pepsi or Diet Coke, whatever. I used to love it. I used to like to have, that was like back in my 20s, even though I was always in the fitness industry, that was just like my thing. I didn't smoke or whatever, but I just really enjoyed my Diet Coke. And I remember once watching this, it was on TV, and they were talking about how they were using Coke to clean your toilets because it has like really strong agents that cleans everything up, makes everything nice and shiny. And the moment I watched that or heard that, I just suddenly felt sick to my stomach that the Coke is so strong that you can actually use it to clean stuff, and it's going to remove I don't know if I heard it removes rust, but it was just so disgusting that I was like, it changed the way I saw pop, right? And especially guys, even though I was drinking like the diet kind, it's just still not good for you. So today, if you guys remove that one thing from your diet, though, from the way you feed yourself already, my friends, you're going to be making such leaps and bounds for your health and your nutrition. So please, if that's one thing I'm going to give you guys today, one thing I really recommend, remove the pop from your diet. The fruit juices are the same. I mean, I love my Tropicana, like orange juice, but let's be honest, same thing. It's filled with sugar. Okay. Even though they're like, they brand it natural. I want you guys to remember that all these companies or these food manufacturers are companies. They're there to make money, and they're going to do whatever they can to sell their product. Okay. Okay. And one thing I love to do and with my waters, I love to like infuse it with lemon. So I know Tony Robbins says he calls it when he puts lemon juice in his water, like from fresh lemons, he calls it making your water come alive. And I love that. I thought that was really neat when he said that. So same thing, guys. You can infuse it with lemon juice. You can infuse it with cucumbers, strawberries, whatever. So much healthier for you. And I think it tastes really delicious. All right, tip 3. Now, I like this one, playing detective. And this is what we're doing on this journey together. We're being detectives. We're starting to look at what's like on in what's on like the things you buy. Now, for instance, this chili is supposed to be a healthy chili. It's the way it's like marketing itself. But when you look at the ingredients, so right, there is the sugar right there. It's cane sugar, but cane sugar is sugar. And I was like, okay, well, where is it on the list? It's like towards the end, so it's not so bad. Usually when you look at something, if it's like part of the first 3 ingredients, that means it's really, really high in sugar. I've got my ketchup downstairs, and I think my ketchup, the sugar is like on the second item on the ingredient list, but it's really, really high in sugar. So maybe that's something, for instance, that if you think about it, it's like if you got your hot dog and like you're pretty much putting sugar on it. And then it's the sriracha sauce, and I love sriracha, but like the third ingredient's sugar. So same thing, right, guys? So become a detective. Like this one here, it's like Simply protein bars. And I'm as a personal trainer, as a coach, I'm often on the go. So sometimes I get hungry throughout the day. So I like to have something that's easy to grab. But I, thought to myself, oh, these look pretty natural. 12 grams of protein, 2 grams of sugar, 7 grams of fibers. But guys, I mean, it's not the best. If I had to be honest with you, probably the best thing for me to do would be like cut vegetables, have fruit ready, have nuts, and just carry that with me instead of having like these prepackaged protein bars, right? So, point is, be a detective, start looking at what the food label says and make better choices for you. Okay. All right. Tip 4, instead of candy. Now, I have a lot of clients that were just so wonderful. They just came out right out and said it to me that they are obsessed with candy. In fact, I had this one client who she worked in a corporation, like a company, and she had, what was it? I think one of her colleagues or a colleague right next to her had a bowl of candy, and everyone would come and they would grab the candy. It became like a social thing, and it just became a habit for her to also grab the candy throughout the day. Well, guys, what do you think candy does? What's like the first thing that comes to your mind? Candy is just pure refined sugar. It's probably so bad for your teeth. I actually have braces in case you guys are like, what's that shiny thing? But yeah, like I have to be really careful also. If someone has braces, the amount of sugar I eat, everyone should be mindful of how much sugar they consume, not only for the braces, but for many other things. But yeah, guys, the candy is something that is delicious, and candy could be anything. It can be like the chocolate, think about all the Halloween candy. So how about we make better choices? That's pretty much the goal. So instead of the candy, what can you have? So fresh, dried, or baked fruit is always a great option because it's packed with fiber, vitamins, minerals. And the fiber, my friends, is what's going to make you feel full. That's what we want ultimately. So fiber, 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 fiber also, it just makes you feel full. And I'm going to just couple that with like protein also. So, and of course, you guys want to try to also avoid those desserts, the ice cream, the donuts, the cakes, and what else comes after that. They're also filled with sugar and so low in nutrition. This also means that after eating high sugar foods, they will leave you hungry for more sugar. So again, what can you have throughout the day? How can you increase your protein intake? How can you also have the good fats? I'm talking about good fats. I'm talking think avocado and the nuts that can make you feel full and make you feel more satisfied, and also making better choices for you. All right. Number 5, the sauces, the dips, the dressings. Oh my, I've already kind of given you guys a teaser about the ketchup and even the sriracha, but guys, think about it. As I said to you before, 1 tablespoon of ketchup contains 1 teaspoon of sugar. So again, it's like you're putting refined sugar on your hot dogs, on your burgers, and so on your fries. So instead of the ketchup or the sriracha, what else can you have that's a little bit more natural? less high in sugar. And that's just part of being a detective. So instead, can you consider something else? The mustard is usually really good, vinegar, pesto. So just play a detective and begin swapping those elements for something that's a little better. And vinegar has no sugar, it's calorie free, and has a nice little zing that is similar to ketchup. Guys, read your labels and again, notice where sugar falls on that list of ingredients. And if sugar is one of the first ingredients, then you'll know that that means that that item is really high in sugar. Now, this is a really good question, and I get this regularly from my clients. What should I do when I have a sugar craving? Guys, sugar cravings, I learned this week that it has more to do with habits. So let me give you guys an example. When I was in corporate, my afternoon snack, and I'm talking about snack, like usually it would be around 3 p.m. I would get like a sugar low. I would start feeling really tired and I would feel like, oh my gosh, I just want to sleep. So what I would do, that would give like me the trigger to get coffee. And I would always get myself a vanilla latte. And the place I went, they had delicious scones or biscottis. Sorry, it was biscottis. And they also had scones. The point is that they had the biscottis, and I would always get the same: the latte with the biscotti, the latte with the biscotti. Like every single day, latte and the biscotti. And guys, that was a habit. It was a habit. And honestly, regardless what kind of day I had, but mostly on those days where I was feeling sad, I was feeling depressed, I was feeling tired, stressed, just the thought of going to the store and get myself the biscotti or the latte made me feel so good. It wasn't even in my mouth yet. It was the thought of it. I was like, ooh, I'm going to get that. I got excited, right? And for a lot of you, you might feel the same thing. So this really means and shows that it's a habit. It's a trigger. And when you eat it, it might not bring the same emotions of, where you were 2 minutes ago when you're thinking about it. So I want you guys to start noticing, what are these triggers that are causing you to indulge into the sugary foods. So this week really will be a lot about exploration, noticing these habits. And once you start having that awareness, that's where you have the power to start making changes. So here I write, notice what emotion triggers your cravings for sugar. Is it boredom, sadness, stress? And instead choose to do something else that makes you feel better rather than eating that sugar. So for instance, in my case, what could I have done? I could have gone for a walk, right? Because as a personal trainer, I know that when I move my body, it increases my energy versus sitting down for too long. Because when you sit down for way too long, especially all my friends who are in corporate, the electricity in the body just stops moving down your legs, and it just begins creating a lot of tension in the body, and then fatigue sets in, especially if you're not eating well. And then it's just like keeps going from there. It's like a vicious cycle or a snowball effect. So moving the body is probably the best thing. Go for a walk, change sceneries, go drink water, go rehydrate. You have so many different options instead of going to grab the sugar. And be gentle with yourselves. I have so many clients that are so hard on themselves, and it breaks my heart. They've ate sugar, and it was like, I ate the sugar. It's okay. Nothing's going to be wrong. Nothing's bad. You're not going to die. It's okay. If you guys cheat, again, I don't like the word cheating, but if it happens, if you indulge, let it be, enjoy it, and then you can make better choices in the next snack or meal. And note that when you eat carbs or sugary foods, you will be hungry for more. And that kind of brings me to my next slide here. Tip 6, cut sugar to the curb. Guys, eating sugar creates the desire for more. So here, if I'm going to bring my photo up, it says for most of us, eating sweets, carbs makes us crave it more. That's why it's hard to say yes to just one cookie, right? Who here has ever just had one cookie? Let's be honest. Okay. Yeah, it's never just one cookie. And especially if the cookies are in the house, you are doomed. One of my favorite coaches out there, Darren Hardy, I love him. And Darren Hardy says that his weakness is ice cream. And so why the heck would he have ice cream in the house just to test his like what's it called? Self-discipline, right? Because it's just too much self-discipline. And there will be a moment when you're going to feel a little weak, you're going to feel a little tired, and you're just going to succumb. Now, for all of those of you out there that have really strong self-discipline, amen to you. But for most of us, we don't, right? We're humans after all, Homo sapiens, and we're wired to want sugar. If we go back all the way back many like years and years and years ago, we were like in the times of like the jungles, Homo sapiens, we didn't have the luxury we have today, right? Usually we ate fast and we ate with like our eyes wide open, like around our heads to make sure that a saber-toothed tiger wouldn't come and like eat us. So it's a very different experience today with our foods. But when we start taking a bite, something happens and we just keep eating even to this day. So it requires a lot of mindfulness. So that's why I'm saying, guys, sugar has just been, it's wired in us. It's like we are, everything's broken down to sugar. It's just part of, it's in our bloodstream. We have to keep it balanced. And that's why we have to be mindful what kind of sugar and foods we put into our bodies. Is it bringing us more energy or is it zapping our energy? And here the lesson is eating simple carbs without the backup of protein, fibers, or fats will not satisfy you in the moment and might give you a burst of energy, but it's going to come down again, right? And it's going to leave you hungry for more. And did you guys know that Dr. Susan Morris shares that sugar releases endorphins that calms and relaxes us and offers us a natural high. And it's this dopamine, right? Like releases dopamine into the brain. And this is no wonder that sugar is considered a drug. Some compare it to heroin, right? Or any other hard drugs. And it's no wonder that our brain craves it. All right, let's keep going. Tip 7, what can you do, guys? So as I said, you've heard this from me several times now. You can combine your foods. Think of adding protein and fiber. You could go cold turkey, completely avoid sugar. You can choose quality over quantity. So for instance, if you need to have that indulgence, why not have dark chocolate versus milk chocolate, which dark chocolate has so much more healthy properties versus the milk chocolate. And have a routine, eat regular meals at the same time. And in those meals, make sure you've got good habits. And if those moments, you're going to crave, there's a trigger that's going to come in. It's like 3 p.m. You're tired. You want to get that latte, like I was sharing with you guys before with like the biscotti. What can you do instead? And be easy on yourselves and forgive yourselves. If you do indulge, forgive yourself, just enjoy it. And drink lots and lots of water. All right, guys, now it's your turn. What will you do next time your sugar monster craves sweets? So that voice that says, it's time for sugar. Tiffany says 7-day no sugar, but let's just like take a moment and eat it, right? It's that voice who craves the sugar. So what can you do now next time that voice comes up? Because you are in control, you are in your driver's seat, and you can do this. All right, I want to hear from all of you guys. In the meantime, make sure you follow me at tiffany.car on Instagram. Share your breakthroughs, and let's keep playing detective with our foods. All right, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to go to day 1. Day 1's coming up right after, and I'll see you guys soon.